Hey, carnivore hunters, it's Doug. So I'm on day 2 of tracking my blood glucose by eating various carnivore and eventually some non-carnivore foods as well. Yesterday I did get some baseline numbers, and if you haven't seen that video, I'll go ahead and link that above. Today I did add in one slight change, so let's go ahead and take a look here and see what that did to me. So yesterday I did get up fairly early in the morning and just kind of went through. You notice there was some lot of fluctuation here early in the day, but then I kind of leveled out at right around 100, and I pretty much stayed at 100 all day long. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it did stay steady, so I'm going to go with it's good until I learn differently. But when we look right here, I had my butter coffee at around 7:51 in the morning, and that again, butter and coffee seems to do nothing to me. I just kind of stay steady right along there. And then later in the morning, I did throw in some element. Didn't expect any change there, but I went ahead and logged it anyway. And then not long after I had the element, I was actually starting to get a little hungry already. So I did eat some leftover hot wings that we had from Buffalo Wild Wings. Now, these wings in particular that I ate were the lemon pepper sauce, which is one that my wife likes to get, and I love them, especially left over. But I did try to shy away from them because it has slightly more carbohydrates than what their traditional hot wings have. So the traditional hot wing sauce, they advertise it as having 1 gram of carbohydrate per serving. To them, I believe a serving is 6 hot wings, and the lemon pepper sauce actually doubles that to 2. So again, very minimal, but it was still something that I wasn't even sure about, wasn't sure what it was doing to me, and was very pleased to find out that it really didn't do anything. I mean, it looks like there might have been a little bit of spike here afterwards, but it's so, again, close to that 100 line that I've been at all day that I'm really not going to worry about that one anymore. Then we came out to about 12:30. This is when we normally have our breakfast. And since I had already had the hot wings, I did opt for just 4.5 pieces of bacon for breakfast. And we also did some milk as well to kind of throw a little wrench into it for you. I was just under a pint of milk, probably realistically, I would say a cup and 3/4. Uh, and I was really happy with this actually, because having the milk at roughly 12:30, and then I didn't peak my there we go. My blood sugar peaked at around 12:51, so it only took me about a half an hour to peak that at that 130 mark. But then what I was really pleased about is how fast this came down. And once about 111, so really less than a half an hour, and I was back down to baseline again. Now, my wife also is using a CGM right now, and she did try some milk yesterday as well. She had more of the reaction that I was expecting to have for myself, and she peaked up pretty quick, but it took a little bit longer, probably an hour to an hour and 20 minutes for her to come back down to baseline. So that's what I was expecting for myself. Either way, I'm very happy with the results because it didn't put me out of range here. I'm sure if I would have thrown in a bunch of other junk with it, that it probably would have. But for just having just some milk, I couldn't be happier with that result. So we can go along here, stayed along at the baseline, and then came our dinner. For dinner last night, I did make my smash burger recipe with cheese. And for those of you who haven't tried that, I'll link the recipe up above. It's a fantastic carnivore meal because these burgers don't require any sauces, no ketchup, no mustard. You don't need to put anything else on these burgers to make them delicious. I do use cheese. However, I go to the deli and I ask for my cheese slices to be cut extra thin. So whereas a normal cheese slice comes in at about an ounce, the cheese slices I use are about a half an ounce a piece. So when I use 2 pieces of cheese on two burgers with 2 pieces of cheese, that's the equivalent of somebody else having one slice. So, but again, really no effect to my blood sugar after that. And then shortly thereafter, we did try a dessert again. This time we went with the Kirkland brand excuse me, Greek yogurt. And again, no real reaction from the Greek yogurt at all. If anything, there was a little bit of a dip there before it did kind of come up, I guess, a little bit here. Uh, but then we also had an early bedtime yesterday. It's been kind of a busy week for us, so we went to bed a bit early. And then you'll notice I did kind of go down and actually fell out of range on the low side. But this stuff was all in my sleep, which I think is fairly normal. Um, and either way, they recommend that you stay within the recommended between 70 and 140. I believe it's 96% of the time. And even with this long dip right here, it still said I'm within range 97% of the time. So not something that I'm worried about. In any case, guys, I am going to start working in more and more foods, try to make this line a little bit more interesting for you guys. If you have any suggestions, any questions on some foods you'd like to see me try, go ahead and put those in the comments and I will try to work those in for you as well. But until tomorrow, guys, we will see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.